voices inside my head. See voices behind the wall, uplifting the underdog. We fighting above the law.
Hi, Shooby Mom, Cotton Candy Boobs, Lena, Lori, Vexing, Under Your Scars, This Little Light of Mine, JD, Aussie Girl. Welcome to the Crazy Train, Aussie Girl. Choo choo. Thank you for becoming a member. Hey, Becca. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, let me go back here. Here we go. Sam, I am. Granny. Yoper. Hello. Hello. Shooby Mom. I got my pen here. Hey, Kimkins. Hey, David, Trio Girl. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and grandmothers. Hi, Lizzie, True Crime. Stacy B, Bambi, Punksy, Jody, Lady CG. Here's the beard.
The beard is here.
Hi, Amy. Thank you.
What she said.
There's a hair floating around. I got to talk to all my kiddos. They're so cute. Hi, Penny, Kiki, Happy Girl, Mutt Dog. So many good peeps here. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even a summer well stream, and we got a lot of people in here.
I love it.
Oh, lip locked. Hi, beautiful, my invisible, beautiful friend. Hey, Darzilla, Claudia. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hope everyone's having a great day, whether you're a mother or grandmother or not. Hi, Tanya. Daisy Joe. I am just going to get into this, and I'm going to look for some news articles to share with y'all. I want to bring it back, though. I want to go to the New York. Can't remember what her name was. Ooh, that's all caps. David Sweat. Wait, or is it Sweet?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Richard Matt, David Sweat. Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow, 3 years ago. Okay. All right. Let's see the interview with Joyce. She's in her black and white. Okay. Oh man, not Matt Lauder. Oh shoot. Whatever. We're gonna watch it. Don't really like to support that man, but it's
clear the comment first.
It's who he did the interview with. Hey Mallory. Hey Lady Hawk. Yo Mean Girl. Hippie Soul. Miss Mala. Jody.
Little light of mine.
Okay, hold on.
I'm gonna let it shine.
Okay. Try this again. All right. So it is Matt Lauder. I don't like him. I'm sorry, but it's who did the interview with Joyce. No, was it Joyce? Yes, Joyce.
Joyce Mitchell.
Joyce Mitchell. Oh, duh, it's right there.
Yeah.
So if you guys don't remember, before the Alabama prison break with the people who were currently on the run, there was another female guard 3 years ago in New York who not only helped one, but 3 convicts escape. 2 left, 1 got caught like in the yard or whatever, but she actually helped 3 escapees. But if you don't remember, it's the guy who looks like Tom Green and the other one looks like George Lopez. Okay, David Sweat and Richard David. I think it's Richard David and David Sweat. Anyway, this lady was married to another prisoner guard. He wasn't showing her enough love, and she ended up sleeping with 3 of these dudes. and giving them tools for the prison break and whatnot. And then when it came time when they escaped, she was supposed to be there to pick them up, right? Do you guys remember? You live in New York. Hey, Dees. Hey, Positively. Heidi Moon. Everyone coming in. If I miss anyone, Jody H. And if you remember, she started having a panic attack, or she chickened out something. I don't know, but she ended up at the hospital. And so exact same time that they like escaped and came up some manholes where she was supposed to be with this minivan, she was actually in the hospital getting checked for a heart attack. So yeah. And one guy got a swollen foot, like, oh no, a really bad infected foot. I can't remember. I think, weren't they shot? I think they died. Well, we'll find out, because we're going to pull up some news articles and go back over that one and kind of compare, because the ladies are very similar. It's bizarre to me. You remember all that? Hey, Darzilla. Excuse me. Okay. Am I sharing? Yes, I am. Okay.
Exclusive interview with Joyce Mitchell. The former prison seamstress will be sentenced a little later this month for her role in a prison break that made national headlines. She's admitted.
I mean, she looks identical to Vickie White.
Giving David Sweat and Richard Matt tools they needed to escape. And when we sat down with Joyce at the Clinton County Jail, she told me that Sweat and Matt were also planning something much more sinister.
And you still help them, though.
Mr. Matt wanted me to give my husband some pills to knock him out.
They called your husband
The glitch.
the glitch, meaning he was the glitch in the plan.
Yes.
And he had
So they wanted her to kill her husband off, too. Another guard that worked there at the prison.
to be disposed of.
Yes. I knew I was in so far that I had to just keep going along with it. So when Mr. Matt brought me the pills.
Oh, no. Why she thought that no matter what, she had to go through with it. So Mr. Matt brought named actor witness.
They were in my drawer at work. And I took them home and I flushed them.
David Sweat, after his capture, told authorities that it was your idea to kill Lyle.
It was not my idea. It was Matt's idea.
I kind of believe it was maybe her idea, although they probably did try to talk her into it. I'm not 100% sure. But what I do know is, why would it matter if she killed her husband or not when she was supposed to just help them escape and take off to whatever, Mexico or whatever with them, right? She was sleeping and in love with both David and Matt, or I don't even know. Matt's idea. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, is it Matt, David, and David Sweat, right? I can't remember. Anyway, it just doesn't make sense. It's very easy for her to just pin everything on these criminals, right? Because I believe one of them, at least, or were both of them cop killers? These two from New York? I can't remember. I think they were cop killers.
Idea.
And so they're now telling you can go live, once they get out, the three of you will go off and live a new life.
Yes.
Did it sound good to you?
When they started that, like I said, I knew I was in way over my head. So I just started playing along and letting them believe that.
At what point was it playing along? Like she can try and distance herself all she wants, right? But she gave these men the tools they needed and was sleeping with them. Like on a daily, she was banging them both, passing love notes and shit. And it is very bad. Very bad. You're cheating on your husband with 3 convicts. I don't know what happened to the third one, but there was 3.
That's what was going to happen. I was just so scared. Mr. Matt has a lot of power. A lot of power.
That's the third one. That's not, yeah, I think that's the one. I think, but there's 3. So it might be Matt, David, and Richard.
How long ago was this?
3 years ago.
He could get whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted.
You've even felt outside of prison that he could have caused harm to Lyle and your family outside the walls of that prison.
Yes.
When did they pick a night? When did they pick a date that the escape would happen?
He just happened to come in one day and said, tonight's the night. And when he said that, I just stayed away from him the rest of the day because it's like, I don't want to hear about it.
What were you supposed to do on the night of the escape? What was your part of the plan?
I was supposed to come up and park by the manhole that they were going to be coming out of.
Mm-hmm.
And I was supposed to pretend that I was making a phone call while they were coming out. I was supposed to bring clothes for them. I was supposed to bring a tent. I was supposed to bring a shotgun.
He wanted to saw that off, right?
Yes,
Did you have a shotgun?
we do own a shotgun, but I had no intentions of ever bringing it.
Yeah, she drove right to the hospital instead of going to the manhole. And I don't know what they found in her, I believe a red minivan, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a minivan, but yeah, I don't know if I ever found anything in there, but.
I had no intentions of ever showing up.
And then the plan was to get them changed, get them in the car.
Yes,
You would have drugged Lyle, the glitch.
yes,
He would have been passed out at home.
yes.
And what did they say they were going to do?
At first, Matt said that he was going to go back and take care of Lyle.
But why though? Like, I'm confused if they're breaking out and then they are. Oh, thank you, Mutt Dog. I'm confused. So if the plan is to break out and then escape to Mexico, am I to really believe that these people who escaped the prison are going to take the extra time and then go back to her husband's house, another guard, and go kill him, and then they're going to take off? I'm supposed to believe that when I'm pretty sure like they'd be on to her too, right? When they start noticing, oh, these guys are gone. I don't think that actually makes sense whatsoever in the plan. Kill him for why? Because she's taking off with the convicts. So kill him for money because she ain't gonna get it because she's hiding out with the convicts, right? So I just don't believe it. I think she's just putting everything onto these guys at this point. That's my belief. Really, why not just hit the road ASAP, right, Jody? Like, they just escaped prison and they're gonna go, oh, let's turn around, go back and kill your husband for no fucking reason at all. It doesn't make sense in the plan to me.
No.
He was going to kill Lyle.
But
And
why? Ask her why, Matt,
I
please.
couldn't let him kill my husband. There's no way.
You keep saying, you know, I love my husband. I couldn't
do
let
love
this
my
happen to my
husband.
husband. And it's hard to believe.
I
Yeah.
know it's hard to believe, but I do love my husband. And I
Bullshit, because you still let them get out. Even though you panicked and had a heart attack and ended up at the hospital, you still didn't tell nobody as you were having second thoughts. You knew these men were working and going to escape, and they're talking about killing your husband. So clearly you didn't give a shit about your husband, lady, because you didn't tell no one. Hey, I fucked up. I gave them things like I was going to go along with this plan. I was scared. I didn't want to kill my husband. They were talking about killing my husband, so I went along with this. Like, at any point, she could have fucking said something. No, she lets them still escape, and she's in the hospital. How the fuck do we know that maybe they were going to turn around and kill her husband? But they didn't now, did they? They just ran for their lives, right? So I don't think it was ever planned to kill her husband. I think she wanted her husband dead.
I've always loved my husband. I was going through a point.
I always love my husband, but I'm banging 3 convicts, like people in prison that are murderers, but I love my husband.
In my life, a lot of people go through depression.
She did
A lot
want
of
him dead,
people go through
Crystal.
that.
That's my belief. Hey, Chaos
And
Queen.
I just got in over my head, and I couldn't get out. And I couldn't tell anybody.
But I thought she was worried about her husband being killed. You couldn't tell him? Hey, they're going to escape. They want to kill you. But
Maybe we
I
should
can't
do
tell
something.
anyone.
I couldn't tell my husband. Couldn't tell my family. I couldn't tell my coworkers.
I
couldn't
don't
tell
buy
anybody.
it.
Why?
Nobody you can tell.
Why couldn't you tell
He
anybody?
had complete control
Because
of
she
you.
didn't probably want to get in trouble too.
Mm-hmm.
Because she gave them, they chiseled a tunnel out.
Yeah,
and
she was helping. That's why she couldn't tell them.
And banging them every day. Not just one, but 2 or 3 of them. So,
You frisky biscuit, you.
yeah.
In your opinion, at that point?
Yes. He was good at that.
You went home from work that day, and I know this part of the story
Hey, Lori, Crystal, Happy Girl, everyone coming in that I didn't get to say hi to. Welcome.
because I talked to your husband about it. He said you were clearly not yourself when you got home from work that day.
No, I wasn't.
What happened?
I was scared because I knew that was the night it was going to happen. And I didn't really know what to do. And I ended up having a panic attack, and my husband did take me to the hospital. And I did spend the night in the hospital. And the next morning, when I turned my cell phone on, of course, I had tons of messages, and one was from my son that state police were looking for me. So we called, and they said, no, we're not looking for you. But then it was work that was looking for us, and they wanted us to come in. And I told them that I was laying in a hospital bed waiting to be released. But when we were released, we did go to the state police. I was not completely honest with the state police at
What'd
first.
you lie about?
Like, this is a time now where you could have been honest and you weren't. So you still know that they escaped. Still saying nothing. Aren't you afraid they'll come back to kill you and your husband now? I don't know. Tammy Ayo. Damn, she should have did porn with the sexual energy. Yeah, well, okay. Here's the thing. So she would be in class. What happened was, like, the dude seen her reading romance novels, and they knew her husband worked there too, right? So they seen her reading romance novels and everything. So they were convicts, con artists, and this is what a lot of prisoners do. Okay, they fucking were trying to be. They even say this, that they were trying to be the romance novel for her. She got, she fucking. I mean, I have not ever, like, I used to read romance novels, but I've never read one. I don't think that's under romance. I think that's something completely different. Like, probably, like, I don't know. I'm not even gonna go there, but you know, the romance novels I read had, like, the Fabio guy, the hair blowing in the wind, showing up on a horse randomly or something, right?
Yeah,
Not
the Harlequin romance things.
yeah, not freaking banging 3 convicts in a prison. Well, my husband's off fucking taking care of these convicts that I'm banging. Well, I teach them how to sew and do their homework. She's now right in her head. I'm telling you, like, I don't know why these women are allowed to work. They should keep the women with the women and the men with the men. That's what I'm saying. Only because this happens far too often. How is it, like, it shouldn't be allowed then?
Yeah.
Like, it really shouldn't. They should really, like, was Joyce examined, or like, what do you call it? They should have to pass all kinds of mental evaluations, and somebody who does this is not mentally stable and probably shouldn't be working at a prison, let alone a prison with such inmates that do such crimes like that. That is alarming. And it does happen way too often, because we are 3 years now. We got the exact same situation happening right now.
Knowing that they had gotten out and the other
Hey, G.
parts
Maria.
of the story. But the next day, my husband and I both...
Don't pick a
I had my
panicker.
husband go out
Maggie, you're bad for that. Note to convicts, don't pick a panicker.
with me. And I started to tell the state police everything. And then the day after that,
Hippie soul, my husband worked in the library while in prison, and we just read that the librarian was arrested for having improper relations with inmates. He said she was nasty, and he wasn't surprised at all. Wow. Blows my mind. I know a guy that manipulated 2 female COs when she was locked up. He got money. Now, it happens the other way around, too. This is why I'm saying, like, perhaps the men should take care of such inmates. Women, like, of the men, and women should take care of the women, because it does happen on both sides. I don't know if anyone watches Love After Lockup, but I mean, you see how, like, it does happen. What in the hell?
What in the hell?
Hey, Heidi Moon, but women correction officers can have relations with female. I know that for sure. Guys can hook up with guys, girls can hook up with girls. I do know that. I just think it's a less percentage of that happening. Don't shoot me. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say.
No, I think they do.
Because clearly this happens way too often. So I just think, I mean, you know, I know girls are attracted to girls, guys are attracted to guys. I get all that. I just think it would happen a lot less than it seems to be, because twice in 3 years to me is too much. It's too close together even. Thanks, Rap. At all costs, missed you over on Benny's. Hey, Squids. Love it. I love After Lockup as well. Oh my God. I can see Lip Lock. Oh, because we're on yours. That's you, right? Lip Lock, I can see you because Mr. has his pulled up. You're not invisible to Mr. Cher.
I see everything.
It feels kind of like less special. It feels like I shouldn't be able to see you. You know, it's just like our special thing. Hey, Alexis. Girl, my husband works in corrections. At least 10 have been fired in the last year for relationships with inmates. What the hell?
Holy crap.
Yeah. These women needy and desperate. Hey, Candy. Happy Mother's Day.
I went back out again on my own, and I tried to tell them everything I could. And they told me, you help us, we'll help you.
And to this point, have you told them every single thing you know? Have you been completely honest?
I have been completely honest with them. I have told them everything.
When you heard that they had been successful getting out of prison, that they had escaped and broken out, and you knew you weren't there to pick them up the way you had promised, what was your first reaction?
I was scared to death.
Hey, Stormy.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube
Scared
channel. Subscribe
to death.
by clicking
Okay,
that
wow.
button down there and click on.
You guys, like, what the heck? That's actually part of what made it a crime for COs to have relations with inmates, because they are not in situations to tell COs no. A friend I worked with, husband was guard at Maximum Pen in Ontario, fired for bringing booze into Bernardo. Oh, wow.
Wow.
The Meerkat Man.
Ernie was a corrections officer and had a relationship with inmate Eric Rush.
I heard that. Was he really a corrections officer, though? That's scary, right?
Well, he's done everything. He's a super soldier.
He's fucking...
He's been
fucking
everywhere, man.
scary.
He's done everything, man.
Let me pull up. Hold on, you guys. This is ridiculous. Oh yeah, the tunnel. Let's see the tunnel. Okay.
It was 6 years ago. 2 men broke out of Clinton Correctional Facility in upstate New York, leading police on a statewide manhunt.
And one of those men, Richard Matt, was killed. The other, David Sweat, was caught. And today, he
that's
testified
right.
about a completely separate.
One of them, I can't remember actually, because they were barefoot. He cut his foot on a stick, and his foot got infected, so it slowed him down. But the best is the memes where they...
This was 6 years ago. This is a different one.
No, this is the same one.
Murder
This is 6
implicating
years ago.
his escaped partner
I know,
as the
but
killer.
it's just
Channel 2's
later.
Jeff Preval has been following developments out of court. Jeff?
Yeah, hi there, Mary Allison Scott. Well, today, David Sweat testified in a courtroom filled with correctional officers in the case of a 1993 killing in the city of Tonawanda, where the convicted murderers are trying to have
It's
their...
like Tubba Wubba.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You know, we're going to keep me down.
Oh, that's pretty, Lip Lock. That's really pretty how you did that. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to everyone who's a mother and grandmother as well.
Thrown out. Now, David Sweat told the court that Richard Matt admitted to him while they were in prison that he
Tom Green and George Lopez
killed the victim, Deborah Mendel. 28 years ago, Deborah Mendel, a nursing student at Sisters Hospital, was strangled and stabbed to death in her city of Tonawanda home. Sweat testified that Matt says that he stabbed her and burglarized her home. Defense attorneys argue that the two men convicted of killing Mendel, James Pugh and Brian Scott Lorenz, are innocent.
Because we've laid the table, you're going to roll out that there's details that he knew about the crime that corroborate the fact that.
I remember that he did. He for sure did kill that girl. The two people that got in trouble. It was crazy.
Matt told him about it. I think we'll have to all listen carefully to what he has to say, and yeah, maybe take it with a grain of salt, or maybe or if people who are in a position to investigate and make sure that no one's getting away with anything, we'll hopefully do that.
Now,
Nurse Renee is from Tonawanda.
Today, the court also heard more testimony from former Erie County prosecutor David Harity, who reinvestigated Mendel's killing for the DA's office and opened the possibility that someone else could be the killer. The prosecution tried to discredit Harity, trying to paint him as a renegade who went against protocol and didn't share information with the DA's office. District Attorney John Flynn says that he stands by his statement released last month that there's no credible evidence whatsoever to link Richard Matt to the murder of Deborah Mendel, and that he disagreed with the conclusion of.
What? No, Matt knew way too much about that murder. I remember that. Hey, Sonia, Kimmy Love. I worked at a jail as a nurse. I never went alone. Thank you, Starbright. Yes, and happy Mother's Days to the dads that are moms too.
Of the reinvestigation because of a lack of credible evidence. More testimony is scheduled for tomorrow in this case. In the newsroom, I'm Jeff Perval, Channel 2 News.
I thought they were going to show the tunnel. Did I play the wrong one?
Yes.
I did?
Yes.
Okay.
We're using a flashlight just so we can get decent camera footage.
2 state investigators armed with supplies and 2 GoPro cameras showing us just how inmates David Sweat and Richard Matt shimmied and snaked their way to freedom. The video given to us by an official source is about 20 minutes long as it takes for these investigators to wind their way through the belly of Clinton Correctional Facility.
That's
just like
crazy.
The escapees did back in June.
Coming to the end of it.
If she knew, like, this took a lot of time. I can't remember how long they were working on this. Like, all this time for them to be doing this. And the one guy almost had trouble. He had to stop eating for a couple days because he was too fat for the hole.
Oh.
A block.
We're not showing the investigators' faces, but their point of view is eye-opening. They begin at the very spot where Matt and Sweat cut holes in their cells, then follow the same 6-story high catwalk, before jumping down to take on an elaborate maze of pipes and the prison's tunnel system.
Approaching the first significantly tight squeeze, the end of B block, leading into the C block area.
About halfway through the tape,
currently about 9, almost 10 minutes in.
Our first glimpse of the hole that takes them from one prison building to the next. Investigators squeeze themselves through it to reach the other side.
Watch your legs, almost hooked on a wire there.
They push forward, retracing the prisoner's steps, and just like them, dealing with unbearable heat.
Getting warm.
At 14 minutes, they're underneath the asphalt yard between buildings.
We've now just exited the block area and entered into the pipe chase tunnels adjacent to B block and C block.
It's a maze that even these investigators have trouble mastering. There's piping hot steam. At times, it's hard to breathe.
Now we're basically southbound from that tunnel.
About 17 minutes in, they reach the now legendary steam pipe used by the escapees.
This is crazy. This is the area he was too fat for. He had to lose weight for.
This is where it gets tricky. Sweat had told investigators he spent nearly a month cutting holes in this steam pipe.
A month, you guys. This woman knew and was helping for a month with this. She could have fucking put a stop to this.
All part of his secret nightly trips spent mapping out their elaborate escape.
We're gonna get in this pipe.
Every night after check-in, and sometimes they even like propped in their bed because they said that they would just kind of like shine the light in, not really kind of like really do a good look. So every night after the whatever check, they were both escaping and working on this for a month every night. And again, it ended up with the 2, but it started with 3 inmates. So that's really shitty on the prison for not noticing that every night at least 2 or 3 of their what do you call them, convicts are missing for a couple hours in a month. They don't catch this.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
Just now reaching the exit and attempting to extricate myself.
This also reminds me of watching. Did a lot of you watch the El Chapo tunnel escape and the dirt bike he had already and everything? That was some crazy shit, y'all. This reminds me of that.
The steam pipe, which is not easy.
And then the home stretch, passing one chained up manhole cover and making their way to the next one. The very same manhole.
Thank you, Too Pretty. Can't say, but I'm giving you a thumbs up on my way out. Have a wonderful evening. You have a wonderful evening as well. Hey, Dr. Phil.
Richard Matt and David Sweat emerged from, kicking off a 3-week manhunt.
I'm sorry. Candace is pregnant by Benny now?
Oh my God.
Okay. Okay, so let's now bring up. Let's do some comparisons now. What is her name? Vicky. I'm very confused on how they both have the same last name. I don't know. Let's check this one out. Am I sharing?
I believe so.
Hey, Lucia. Vicky just straight up walked her prisoner out. Yeah, okay. Okay, we'll start with that. Actually, okay, hold on. We are gonna start with that because that is it's outrageous. She really walked that man just out to the fucking car like it was nothing. No leg shackles. There she is at the hotel the night before. She did a practice run 3 days before taking him out. Here we go.
Breaking news just into our Way 31 newsroom on this case. You're taking a look right now at.
She looks like Joyce.
Surveillance video showing lot.
Like, I don't know, but they are a lot alike.
Lauderdale County Corrections Officer Vickie White walking out of the jail
he's ready
with
to go.
accused murderer Casey White. This happened, this video, just moments before the two ran away together.
Also, that scares the shit out of me because I'm pretty sure that cannot be proper protocol right just in that moment because he doesn't have leg shackles on.
He does, actually.
They're not tied together because the jail said that he didn't have leg shackles on, but you're right. I can see something around his ankles.
Yeah, he does have leg shackles on.
He does, but why is the prison saying he didn't? Okay, it does look like he has leg shackles on, but this dude is a fucking giant. He's, how old are you? 6'1"?
6'1".
He is 6'1". Look how he towers over me, right? This dude's 6'9", from what I read. He is 6'9". And she is walking in front of him like that. And all I picture is him just going up behind her like that. She's done for. Like, clearly she has a lot of trust in this dude here. And that's just scary.
Together Friday morning. There they are leaving the Lauderdale County Jail. An active manhunt is underway for these armed and dangerous suspects. The latest development comes as you just heard that former victim of Casey's sharing a dire warning for Corrections Officer Vickie White.
Whew, she is... I'm actually concerned because I just don't see how. So learning about him more, it does from I haven't done like deep research into this yet, but from the little bit of research I did do, it seems to me that this man has murdered. There's another case from 2015 being reopened because his ex-girlfriend, Casey White's ex-girlfriend, committed suicide by shooting herself in the chest. Well, now learning his past and that he's in jail, she's a grown adult now, but the daughter of his ex-fiance who shot herself in the chest and committed suicide, he was with her when she did that. So she said at the time she was 13, didn't think anything of it, didn't like understand what was going on. But now she's demanding that her mother's suicide be reopened and reinvestigated because she's pretty sure that Casey killed her. And Casey killed another woman too. So he kills women. I hear he kills women when they want to break it off with him. And he gets angry. Now, this guy is supposed to be taking lithium. And that's another thing. When he doesn't take his medications or he thinks I don't need it, he snaps, right? And I don't know if she stocked up on lithium before breaking him out of prison, but he is going to need that. Or he is going on a rampage. He's going to kill her and everybody around him because, I mean, that's what I'm concerned about. And reading it, like his old attorney from other cases came out and said, what was going on, and maybe I can find that one because it makes me like I'm scared for this lady, but when I listened to him talking the other day, it kind of made me think, okay, well, as long as she doesn't act like she wants to get away from him, maybe she'll be safe. I don't know. This isn't the same attorney. Okay, well, we'll get to that after because I want to pull up, what's her name? Vicky. Shoot. Yeah, she checked in like 2 days before or something too to check in on her dog before or the day before she broke him out. All right, we'll go with the this one.
Usually bras fit small-chested women like this.
Yapping, you guys. Well, buckle up because we've got a
facts
special edition of News Nation Prime, and it starts right now.
Yay! Prime!
We think we know the ones closest to us, what they're thinking, what makes them tick, how
how far they're willing to go. Until we don't.
Alert went off, and we were just like in Florence, Alabama.
This is not the Vickie White we know.
A corrections officer with a secret. A double life with a dangerous criminal.
He's already killed one.
Now, fugitives on the run.
He is the worst case scenario for a fugitive hunt.
Tonight, a web of lies unraveling. Revealing a hidden relationship, a calculated escape plan.
He would have brought him right down the hallway.
Yeah.
I never thought that she would, break any kind of rules like that.
And a betrayal so deep, so shocking, it feels like fiction. But it's not. A special edition of News Nation Prime starts right now.
Hey, electronic medium.
This is News Nation Prime with Marnie Hughes.
Armed, dangerous, unpredictable, and on the run. Police are warning everyone tonight, nationwide, be on the lookout. Good evening to you. I'm Marnie Hughes. This is a special edition of News Nation Prime for you tonight.
Wait till you see this guy. I have like 7 different mugshots of him. He's a chameleon.
He really is. When he's got all his beard and everything, he looks a lot like John Hamm, the actor.
Oh, he looks like, maybe they'll show it in this. I hope they do, because he definitely will be able to, his height will kind of give it away, but he absolutely, as long as his tattoos aren't showing, he can really look like anyone. I mean, it's terrible. Hey, Maggie.
1 hour focused on this case and this manhunt.
I don't know if they're related. I'm going to be honest with you. To find out that she was visiting him during her free time and everything happening, I do question it. How big of a coincidence is it? Did they fall in love because both of their last names are White? Like, is that what the connection was between these two? Or is there something freaking more? Like, I don't understand, because I said that. I was like, are they freaking married on the low or something? And they're like, oh, people told me, Cher, you're so dumb. The corrections people would obviously know if that happened. And I'm thinking, but they didn't fucking know until now that she was visiting him. Like, that should not be allowed. Am I crazy? The freaking CO was visiting this inmate on her free time. How the fuck is that okay? It's fucking weird.
With new information and exclusive interviews that you have never seen before now. Vickie White, a former Alabama corrections officer who isn't who people thought she was. And Casey White, a murder suspect who is much more evil than anyone could have imagined. This is an unlikely pair caught up in a web of lies.
And Casey has a brother who lives in Tennessee or something. He also apparently went missing in 2017 for a while. And apparently he's like 2 times worse than Casey White. And the van was found somewhere in Tennessee as well. Yeah, chameleon for sure, lip lock. I mean, every picture I saw, I'm like, holy shit, it really looks like a completely different man.
And deceit. She had everyone fooled. He has nothing to lose. It has been 7 days since she broke him out of jail in Alabama, and they could be anywhere. And within the last few hours, that getaway car we've all been looking for has been found. It's that copper-colored SUV Vicky purchased using an alias. It was discovered nearly 4 hours north of Florence, Alabama. Abandoned and towed, and no sign of these.
I hope they tell us the alias, because that would be helpful, I think, you know. I did look her up on Facebook. I couldn't find her. If y'all know. But yeah, I've been trying to, you know, be nosy into this lady's social media and stuff.
These fugitives.
My gut is telling me that they're obviously on the run, and you know, that they're probably right now. You know, I think the fact that they abandoned this car so quick and where they abandoned it, I think it threw them a curve. I don't think they planned for that.
They could be anywhere right now, and until they are caught, no one is safe. I want to bring in senior national correspondent Brian Enton. He is.
Oh, and they do have guns, I think, too. I think they said they have guns. She definitely had her cop gun with her. You live 1 hour from Lauderdale County. Ooh.
joining us live tonight from Florence, Alabama. Brian, now that the getaway car has been found, police are starting.
Brian!
Back at square one, essentially. The sheriff seems to think that dumping that car.
That's right, Rosie. I heard something about an AR-15.
Is not part of their plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marnie, the sheriff believes that
That's
car actually
crazy.
broke down. It was found in a rural part of Tennessee, but the sheriff says it was not necessarily hidden, which makes him think that they had some kind of maintenance problem with it. What's interesting is they did appear to try to spray paint the car to change the color of it. But what's so frustrating right now for law enforcement, Marnie, is that car was actually discovered a week ago in Tennessee. Someone spotted it, thought it was odd that it was abandoned. It was towed to a tow yard, but it was not until today that the law enforcement officials in Tennessee contacted the sheriff's office here in Alabama and said, wait a minute, we think this is their car. So it basically gave Vickie and Casey 1 week to run, and no one even knew they weren't in the car anymore.
Brian, you've been on the ground there for about 24 hours, digging, talking to people who knew both Vickie and also Casey. And I mean, this tangled web that they created and have everybody duped for the last couple of years has gotten more and more.
So her name that I found on social media, she does go by, there's a hyphenated name. It's Vickie Sue Davis White. So it's Vickie Sue Davis or Davies I think White. So I'm gonna go with no. I think she was married and she's a widow, if I'm not mistaken.
More bizarre, the more hours that pass by.
So that's weird too. Like, I'm curious when, so when did she get the White on her last name? Because she was married. The husband died. She's a widow, never remarried. I heard she doesn't have kids. She didn't remarry. And, now I'm curious, what was her husband's last name?
And the more time they're out there, the bigger the risk is. So you've been following the breadcrumbs. And as I said to you last night, there are a lot.
Yeah.
There are a lot.
They tried to spray paint the fucking minivan green.
This is definitely a community and a region on edge right now. Everyone knew this couple. People especially knew Vickie White because she was from this town. She worked at the jail for almost 2 decades, and people are still trying to mentally process how all of this could have happened.
You need to put a light on Ryan.
Almost no one could have suspected that Vickie White, the longtime assistant director of corrections in Lauderdale County, Alabama, had such a secret dark side.
What
Yeah,
is
her
Vickie
poor
like?
mom.
Solid was my word for her. So when this happened, it was such a shock. But she was not a big talker, is not a big talker, but got things done.
Lauderdale County District Attorney Chris Connolly has worked with Vickie for 16 years.
You know, it's like the stages of grief.
We're here in an area in northern Mozambique, and we've been going from village to village. We've been
So this unbelievable, this didn't happen. And then, you know, you get to the point where I am now, which I'm mad that she did this.
Inmates inside the jail are also shocked. This woman just bonded out. Did you ever get a weird vibe from her when you were in jail?
No, not at all. Like she, no, I never did. I never thought that she would, you know, break any kind of rules like that. You know, she was the person you could go to if you were having problems with any kind of COs or anything like that.
Having been in jail, are you surprised that she was able to get him out like that?
No. Mm-mm.
Why not?
Because it's chaos here.
Detectives are piecing together the days before Vickie vanished with inmate Casey White.
Oh yeah, I can see it now. His legs are tied or shackled.
Yeah.
There have been reports Vickie was seen inside this department store buying men's clothing. Workers inside told me they could not comment. And others report seeing Vickie at this adult store before she took off. A woman working inside told me her lawyer advised her not to talk about whether or not Vickie was a customer. The sheriff confirms Vickie and Casey were having a romantic relationship. Vickie lived in this house 18 miles from the Lauderdale County Jail, but sold the house days before she disappeared with Casey for $90,000, well under market value.
Is that all money that she would have? Like, is it cash? Is it?
My understanding is that yes, that she got that money out of the bank, and, you know,
in cash.
And you know, and I saw where her mother said she was also a frugal person, so she likely had a pretty sporty amount of money on top of that.
Vickie was divorced, but still lived with her ex until he passed away in January from Parkinson's. They had no kids, and the sheriff wonders if she was grief-stricken.
You know, they've been divorced for
I don't think grief-stricken can be an excuse for what she done.
No.
I don't think there should be any excuses made for what she done. She knows right from wrong, or she better damn well, because she is the director of transporting inmates. Cher, gang, 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 gang. Oh, you did not. You got my phone down there, baby. You got your pen, Shuby Mom? So yeah, the light. So you guys, Shuby Mom got her first. I'm a marijuana. I'm in Canada. It's legal. But Shuby Mom got her first medical vape cartridge, and she was like, "How do you use it?" or whatever. And then she's like, "They told me the light." But yeah, you just see the light. There you go. Make sure it's charged, Shuby Mom. Shuby Mom's puffing it for the first time tonight. She was waiting until I went live, and I puffed too. So
She should have come up on panel.
oh yeah, if you want to come up on panel. You don't know what to say? Yeah. For real, she knows better. She freaking better. Yeah, she knew. She practiced it 3 days beforehand. I don't know.
Several years, but I think they were still on speaking terms. And I've wondered if that might have had something to do with this or not.
Vicky's mom, Pat, lives right next door to the house Vicky lived in. She
Oh,
did not want to go on
shit.
camera, but told me this is not the daughter she knew, and that all of this has come as a total shock. But there are some people who knew.
That's that's sad.
Mm.
And I feel very bad for Vicky's mom.
Yeah.
And today I feel very, very bad for her. That's terrible. Wow.
Vicky, who are not as surprised. Right now, we're going to meet up with one man who worked with Vicky at the jail.
Nobody is surprised. Nobody from there that has worked with her in the past is surprised.
Vicky was Tyson Johnson.
That's alarming that there is actually a whole nother jail and people that worked with her in the past who are not surprised by this. So how are this whole team not surprised? How does she still have a job doing this? I gotta go get a Pepsi.
Johnson's boss for 7 years at the jail before he says he was wrongfully terminated. He says she is smart and calculated and has a dark side. Where do you think she is right now?
That's a good question. That is a very good question. Honestly, I don't think she'll be found. Like, she is calculated enough that she has thought this entire thing out. She definitely outsmarted the sheriff. She outsmarted the administrator of the jail.
The U.S. Marshals released these photos showing Casey White's tattoos and also what Vicky might look like with brown hair.
And also, Vicky used the tanning bed a lot and laid out in the sun. And Vicky may have been 57 years old, but she looked 75. The photos that they're releasing of her, there's a filter. They're all bright on the face because it's not showing the true her. A lot of people, former employees that have called me, it's like, if Vicky dyed her hair gray and put on some old lady clothes and glasses, she could walk right by you and you would never know it.
How long will Vicky and Casey avoid capture? Their getaway car now found, but law enforcement admits the fugitives have been one step ahead of them and could be anywhere.
I think that her knowledge of corrections and her knowledge of the procedures that we use here in the sheriff's office on transport most definitely played to her advantage. I think this was a very well thought out plan.
Do you personally think they're far away?
I do. I mean, I can't see her as smart as she is. Hold up somewhere
Thank you, Shuby Mom.
around here, but who knows? Obviously, I didn't know her as well as I thought I did.
And important to point out, if anyone sees Vicky or Casey White, the sheriff is emphasizing to stay away. They believe the couple right now is armed and dangerous. They believe they have.
Yeah, I just want to repeat that because please don't go driving around. $10,000 ain't worth it. These people have weapons on them. Like if you see them, call 911, but do not chase them down. Do not, like, I have to stress that they have a fucking machine gun, you guys. That's ridiculous. They have multiple guns on them, so they are very, very dangerous people. 10 grand ain't worth your life, but if you see something, definitely say something. Don't go look out. Don't go looking to see something in this situation, please.
Had an AR-15
That's my
and a
advice.
shotgun. Marnie?
Yep. So people are looking for them, Brian. Their pictures are plastered everywhere. He's 6'9", so he's hard to miss. But you talked to some people today who said they're likely changing their disguise. So you may not be looking for what you think you're looking for.
Absolutely. The district attorney, who is very much a part of this investigation, says they are working on one theory that it is possible that they have a wheelchair with them and that Vicky is actually pushing Casey in a wheelchair and that he may have a wig on to disguise himself as a woman. She has him in the wheelchair possibly so that you can't tell how tall he is. They're not sure that that's what's happening. It's one thing they're looking into. They're also not sure where they are tonight. They say at this point they could be anywhere.
And if you see them, do not approach them. Call 911. Brian, you'll be joining us later in the show with
He would make an ugly woman, wouldn't he?
another update. We'll see you then. Thank you. There is a lot of concern tonight with Casey White on the run. His ex-girlfriend says she is terrified, and so is the son of the woman Casey White is accused
Are
of
you guys
murdering.
seeing the
We're going to be
different
speaking to
faces?
him in just a few moments. Not only is Casey White nearly 7 feet tall, he's 260 pounds, but his past is horrifying. Law enforcement who have spent years chasing him say he is more dangerous right now than anyone could have thought because he could be cornered. Correspondent Kelsey Kernstein is live outside.
And without his lithium. Jeez.
The detention center in Florence, Alabama for us tonight. Kelsey.
He is not a friendly giant.
See, this is a very, very dangerous fugitive that they're looking for.
Marnie, he really is. Casey White is a dangerous person, but I have spoken extensively to sheriffs, law enforcement, investigators. They all tell me that he is not a sociopath, saying he is mentally unstable and very dangerous on drugs.
Holy shit, she
Former
has
Limestone County
eyelashes.
Sheriff Mike Kegley says he remembers a night he arrested Casey back in 2015 that landed him locked up for 75 years.
Look at that. That looks like a completely different guy, guys.
Guns pointed at Casey. He standing out in the middle of the road, had two 40 caliber Glock pistols, one stuck to each one of his temple, threatening to kill himself.
In that moment, he says Casey had one request.
Just put the gun down. He told me to call his mama and tell her he loved her. I said, Casey, everything's gonna be fine. Nobody's gonna die tonight. And he said, oh yeah. He said, I'm gonna make y'all kill me.
Blakely calling it a one.
Okay, so this guy's definitely not mentally, like, he's just mentally gone. But at the same time, he tells them, call my mom and say I love her. So that makes me feel like kind of bad in a way. Like he can't, like he just can't help himself, right? This man needs to be in prison and on his lithium, like for sure. And unfortunately, I think that he was probably born like that way.
It should be so. Your mom says.
Happy Mother's Day, Amber. ATS News. Hey, Zena, have you ever seen the wonderful Wild White document? No, I don't think so. What was the comment you want me to look at, babe?
Should be mums.
Should be mums. It's better than chemo, y'all. Thank you for your support. That one? Oh. Member for 3 months. Hi, y'all. Much love on Mother's Day. Thank you, Chris Flowers. Thank you for being a member.
Night crime spree. In fact, he invaded his ex-girlfriend's home, hijacked vehicles, and led police on a chase. He says Casey even shot his ex-girlfriend's dog to death.
Turns around and she had a
Casey
Doberman there in her house that was her pet, and he shot and killed the dog.
So he had no problem with shooting a dog.
Casey is unstable mentally, and he also is very dangerous when he is on drugs.
Blakely even describing him as
That's what his old attorney said, is that when he was out of lithium or whatever, that he would try to self-medicate with heroin and that. And he said, I mean, that's not what he's supposed to be on. Lithium is not heroin, right? So it's very, very bad. And I really hope Vicky didn't think, oh, I can just give him meth or heroin instead of lithium. Like, I really hope she stocked up on that for the public's safety and hers, that she somehow, some way got lithium.
going to the emergency room because he was hearing voices. Casey later that
I feel like he was listening to me. Was that a shout out?
year in 2015.
He was caught, charged, and convicted of those crimes in Limestone County and was sentenced to 75 years in state penitentiary.
That same year, Connie Ridgway was murdered in Lauderdale County, an hour east of Limestone County. Casey writing a letter confessing.
That investigator went to the prison, interviewed him. He confessed to the murder of Connie Ridgway. This is in 2020. He was charged with that murder on September the 1st, 2020.
I went by Casey's attorney's office in Lauderdale County, who was representing him in the alleged.
Lady CG, how does someone fall in love with someone so evil? I think that
It's like the Nightingale syndrome. they like take care of the inmates, right? So there's like a doctor-patient kind of bond there.
And again, thinking I can fix that. Like he was a monster because of that, but he like sometimes people don't see, like she maybe didn't see the monster. Because I don't know really how I want to explain this, but my dad did some bad stuff. I don't think he's a monster, but some people might have said that in his past or thought that. But like, I love my dad. I don't know. It's weird. She's got to be mentally unstable, I think, to like love this man. Like, I would assume she knows the evidence, but she was favoring this guy, I guess, like giving him extra minutes on the phone, extra food, like all of this. He had a special whatever they do in jail where like some inmates can get special privileges and whatnot. And he was that with her, you know. She was lonely, but not an excuse. That could definitely add to it. I mean, she should know right from wrong, right? But being lonely for however many years, maybe her ex-husband, well, they were divorced, but then he did die, but maybe maybe that was still the love of her life, even though they were divorced still. I don't know. I don't know. It's still no excuse, because going through that, you still have this job to not let these monsters out in society running free. And if she can't handle that, it should have been maybe not even all up to her to maybe come forward and be like, I can't handle this, but possibly people around her or employees should have maybe been like, there's got to be maybe better training to be able to pinpoint, okay, well, maybe like she's not okay for this job or something. Something has to happen, because we can't be having this. We can't have a bunch of Casey Whites and David Sweats running around, or we're fucking toast.
Killing of Connie Ridgway, asking him about his client's escape.
Well, it changes the dynamics of the case, but as far as my representation of him, it changes nothing. Everybody's entitled to a good defense. He is still presumed innocent. He has an opportunity and will have a day to present his case.
I asked Blakely if he thought Casey murdered Connie Ridgway.
He's allegedly stabbed a woman to death. Knowing him, arrested him. Do you think he's capable of that?
I think he's probably capable of anything.
Sheriff Singleton says Casey was brought back to the Lauderdale County Detention Center for his arraignment, saying this wasn't the first time he tried to escape the jail.
He was planning an escape. So we followed up on that. We found a shank on his person. This is the main hall.
Sheriff Singleton also gave me a tour.
I forgot about that. He planned escapes a couple times. I want to say in like 2015 or 2017 or something. I'm sure we'll hear in a minute, but I forgot about that. All the more reason, like, why were they gonna? You can't tell me they didn't probably, like, why didn't they stop her? Like, you shouldn't be transporting him alone. Why'd they even let him leave with her? At some point, yeah, Vicky fucked up, but there should be other people in trouble as well, because they shouldn't have allowed Vicky to do that. I don't give a shit what her rank was. There's higher up than her, and that should have been stopped. She should not have been allowed to leave that jail with that man without another officer.
Yeah.
At all. So there should be more people in trouble. Vicky definitely should be in big trouble for this. But there's other people that I believe should be in trouble, because this shouldn't have happened, and there's more than Vicky at fault for that.
Of the detention center.
People let them leave.
Is that what that is?
People had him sitting there fucking ready, because she opened that door and was like it was that quick, right? So they had him ready to go with her.
All day long.
Where inmate Casey White and corrections officer Vickie White escaped on April 29th.
Cracks on the glass.
Yeah, no, that's mild right now. If they get upset about something, you hear. Casey was in the first cell on the left. You can see that first window in that picture we released. He would have set him on one of these benches where he would have prepared him for transport. That means putting handcuffs on him, putting leg shackles on him. Those are connected together. She came in, she came back out, held the door open. He came out this door. and right into the saddle cord.
These pictures in from the U.S. Marshal showing detailed pictures of Casey's tattoos. He's about 300 pounds, 6'9" with hazel eyes. Officials now believe Casey is connected to an Alabama-based white supremacist gang. I knocked on Casey's mom's house to learn more. No one was home. I went to an address listed on his court records as his most recent home. No apartment number even listed.
Do you think this woman that he's with, do you think that she is in danger?
It depends on if Casey's happy. She's probably happy too. But
No protocol was 2 deputies for transport all times. Why was exactly, Lex, exactly. He shouldn't have been allowed to leave that jail that day with her at all. I feel bad for this sheriff. I don't know why. I think Vicky betrayed the badge and that sheriff.
He gets whacked out on meth and something don't go his way, then if she don't know how to handle him, then anybody could be in danger around him.
And according to court documents, Casey is a father. It's not clear how many children he has. It's also not clear if he's ever been married. And the U.S. Marshal has put out a $10,000 reward in helping to find him. Marnie?
Yeah, and that reward increasing even today as we speak. Kelsey, thank you. Casey White has been cornered, as you heard.
Do not do it, y'all. If you are in the area, please do not try and find these people anywhere you are. If people in Tennessee are probably looking now, please don't. There's a few $1,000s ain't worth it. Like I said, these guys are very dangerous, and they believe he's with his brother who's twice as bad as him.
There by law enforcement before, and there is 2 men out there who know him better than most because they have come face to face with him. We're going to be talking with a lieutenant and a sheriff from Tennessee. They're going to be joining us next live to talk about this case and the manhunt. Also, he lost his mom and he now fears for his own life, the son of Connie Ridgway. She was stabbed to death in a crime Casey White confessed to. He's going to join me for a one-on-one interview coming up. This special edition of News Nation Prime continues right after this.
Woo!
Woo! Friends.
The search for Casey White and Vickie White, not related, is getting more intense by the day. This couple could be anywhere, and they could be gaining ground as we speak right now. It is important to note that this is far from your average manhunt. Casey White is a dangerous fugitive, as we continue to lay out, with a long rap sheet. Not only is he convicted of murder or charged with murder, he went on a crime spree in Alabama in 2015, then stole an SUV and drove to a rest stop in Tennessee, where he then tried to carjack a semi-truck and then opened fire after that. Casey is no stranger to being on the run.
Holy shit, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Home invasion, carjacking, police chase, faces 2 counts of capital murder and stabbing of Connie Ridgway. Wow.
Vicky may know a thing or two about evading authorities herself with her
we should be checking that hemp cafe in the Smoky Mountains, just saying.
Experience in law enforcement. But if there is anyone who knows who these 2 are, it's my next 2 guests, Sheriff Kyle Helton and Lieutenant Shane Hunter from Giles County, Tennessee. To you both, welcome, and thank you for being part of the special coverage tonight of this manhunt. They could be anywhere. Lieutenant, I want to start with you. You've been face-to-face with Casey White. What is your message to the public tonight?
Well, obviously, I had a lot of interaction with Casey after the crime spree and had the opportunity to sit down and talk with him and process what had occurred on that particular night. And obviously, Casey admitted to his mental issues that he had, and obviously his addiction to drugs. And the 2, when mixed together, obviously Casey is extremely volatile. That particular night, obviously, he'd been off his medication for a lengthy period of time and had introduced meth. So when those 2 together, obviously Casey became a very dangerous person that particular evening.
Take us back to 2015 when he was cornered by police at that point.
That's a good question, Chris Flowers. I'm not quite sure why she stayed in a hotel the night before. I have no idea. It has no idea. Just doesn't make sense. Hi, Tina G.
After Connie Ridgway's murder, a chase. Walk us through what happened.
She did.
Yeah, so obviously he transferred over into Tennessee from the crime spree there in Alabama.
In a hotel
came to a rest stop here in Tennessee. Where
she only stayed in it the night before the escape.
Tried to apprehend and actually make that truck driver drive the vehicle.
So it's weird.
And his own words were that law enforcement would not be looking for me in an 18-wheeler. Once he realized that that person was not going to provide that vehicle very easily, he moved on to the next person, which would have been a female. She's seen him approach with a gun in his hand. She locked the door and then attempted to flee from him, and that's when he began to open fire up on her. He then left the area and then continued north on I-65, where then he carjacked a vehicle. Once inside that vehicle, he proceeded back on I-65 south, where he entered back into Limestone County, where a pursuit began with Limestone County. And then ultimately he wrecked the vehicle, and then ultimately got out of the vehicle. And obviously he requested Sheriff Blakely to come to the scene, which ultimately happened. Obviously there's a lot of intense moments. In fact, in Casey's own words, when I interviewed him that particular night, his intentions were to make law enforcement kill him.
Which makes him even more dangerous.
I think that's what unfortunately will happen when they're found. I do think he's been begging for it for years, is suicide by cop. And that's terrible. That, like, I don't know why or what is wrong with me that I feel bad for people that I feel like can't help it. And I feel like Casey's one of those people that can't help it. I think he was born with mental issues that he just can't help it. And he's someone who should be institutionalized. He should be institutionalized, right? But I kind of wonder, because somebody, and maybe they'll say it in here, somebody said that Casey actually preferred to be in prison. And when I heard that yesterday, it made me think of my dad, because there was once upon a time my dad was saying that. My dad was like, I want to be in prison. I am better off in prison. He said for his safety, for other people's safety, for society, like he was like, I am better off in prison. I just want to be there. And so that kind of worries me, because did she want him out of prison? Like, so I do wonder, if he's so happy in prison, how did this come about? Because for sure my dad never wanted to escape or try to escape. People who say that, they mean that. They mean it. Like when Don Wells says, I'm institutionalized. No, you're not. People who are institutionalized want to be in prison. And this is exactly why I think Chris Watts is fine confessing to everything, even though there's probably a lot more to that story. In my opinion, allegedly, whatever you want to say, Chris Watts is the type of person mentally that is okay with prison, which people who are okay with prison honestly should be in the military from as soon as possible, as long as possible. It's the structure they really want. And if they could be in the military, I think it would save them from being in prison. That's just, I don't know that. It's always something I wondered, because to me, I consider it the same, institutionalized. Being in military, you have to do these things, right? There's structure there, and Chris Watts is okay with that. My dad was okay with that. Don Wells lies and says he's institutionalized, but he's not, because people who are institutionalized are my dad, Chris Watts, and they are okay being in prison. They'll do anything they can to go back to prison if they're ever let out, because they want to be in prison. Don Wells is not institutionalized. He's a scared bitch and doesn't want to be in a jail cell or prison, jail, whatever. And so I do kind of wonder, because I do believe that Casey is like that. And I don't know if it's in this one, but there are law enforcement coming out saying that he wanted to be in prison, and he actually did good in prison. Like that, he did a lot better being in prison. He preferred it. So I just I'm very curious how the escape come about with that in my mind anyway.
Dangerous tonight, because as we've said before, and you both know this, he has nothing to lose. He is facing capital murder charges and the death penalty once he is caught. He has been described as someone who has no regard for his own life and also for the life of others. Would you both agree with that?
That's so sad.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
What else stands out to you? Go ahead.
Don't you guys think that's sad to hear, though? Like, I know he's he's gotten in trouble, he's done terrible things, but isn't it sad to think he did all this because he just doesn't give a shit about life, and because he wants to be killed by the police, because he just wants to die? So he'll do whatever to get there? That's fucking sad to me, I think.
Yeah, he has no regard for human life whatsoever. If somebody's cornered, if he's cornered, then obviously he's going to resort to whatever means he may have at his choosing to try to render that situation in his favor.
Sheriff, what was your reaction when you heard that Casey White had escaped, knowing that he had a plan to escape and had extra security supposed to be on him because of that plan?
Well, it was real concerning from the standpoint of our, as a matter of fact, Lieutenant Hunter was the one who contacted me, excuse me, and notified me about it. And I do remember that night the bedlam that was in the county. I had already contacted other officers that were off duty to get active because we'd already had two spots that he had did the shooting at the rest area and then carjacked at the pilot at the exit 22.
Who thinks she had the handcuff key in the back seat waiting for him?
But we didn't, at that time, we didn't know where he was at and where he was going. So we wanted to cover the county best we could. And probably about 30 minutes after that was when we found that Limestone County had found the car that he had just stolen. And then the pursuit started with him.
So to you both tonight, he could be anywhere, but he was pretty close to Tennessee when this all started, and that car was abandoned in Tennessee. So I would imagine you're on the lookout for him. What is your message to the public tonight if anybody comes in contact with him, and the message to law enforcement in your jurisdiction or elsewhere of what he's capable of?
He's capable of anything. You know, the public has a clue or think that it's him. Just call 911. Do not try to approach or do not try to deal with somebody like that. In law enforcement, I know that it's well promoted all over the country. So, and he is the type of person that it's going to be hard to hide. So everybody's on alert and real cautious.
Well, he's going to come up for air at some point. Let's just hope it doesn't end badly. Sheriff Kyle Helton and Lieutenant Shane Hunter, we appreciate you giving us some time tonight. Thank you, and good luck as you help in the search as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Explosive new details revealed tonight, 7 days after Vickie White helped Casey escape. Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton is going to be joining us live. He is leading this investigation. This was his jurisdiction when Casey and Vickie went missing. He'll be answering some of your questions tonight on the case as well. You are watching a special edition of News Nation Prime. Also, Casey and Vickie's so-called jailhouse romance is more common than you might think. In fact, one former corrections officer says it happened to her. Her story is coming up.
You see this app right here? It's called Audible. Using just this little app on my phone,
It really doesn't leave us a lot. We just know what direction they were headed. You know, they headed north from here. Now, whether after Friday afternoon when they abandoned that car, which direction they headed there, we don't know. You know, so on that particular issue, we're sort of back to square one.
Back to square one. That is Sheriff Rick Singleton from Lauderdale County, who has been leading this investigation for a week now, from the very beginning. A massive piece to this puzzle has hit a dead end. That's that SUV that the couple left behind with nothing in it. No signs of Vickie White and Casey White tonight, considered highly dangerous and armed. Sheriff Rick Singleton is joining us now. Sheriff, we appreciate you giving us some time. This thing just keeps getting worse and worse by the hour. Let's start with what new you can share with the public tonight about the threat and any clues that you have.
I'm sorry, the threat and what?
The threat and anything new you can share with people who are on the lookout for these two.
The obvious threat is Casey White. He's a very dangerous man. You know, he's killed before. He's attempted to kill before. You name it, and he just has an extremely violent past. So he's someone we need to get off the street for sure.
How confident are you in finding them at this point with so little to go on?
I'm very confident we're going to find him. The question is when. You know, I've seen this scenario play out many, many times over my career. And every single time we,
if I'm not mistaken, then the David Sweat and the other one, I think made it. Was it a week?
Yeah, they tend not to be able to make it very long because you can't reach out to any family or old friends because they're going to be watched. So you have to go somewhere and vanish. No, they have a good chance of staying hidden for a while because she has so much cash. But it's still.
After 20 days on the run trying to escape to Canada, he was killed and Sweat was captured 2 days later. So the one was 20 days and the other got away for 22 days. So
they end up getting caught, and we're going to catch these guys, and we're going to get them back behind bars.
It seems like law enforcement is a few steps behind them at every moment. This car was found abandoned and then towed last week.
I just want to know if he thought, bitch, that door hit me.
And they went missing. So they could be anywhere in any sort of vehicle right now. Was there
every time I see that clip, I'm like,
you know, I've seen
she
the
lets
scenario
the door
play out
just
many,
hit
many
him
times
right
over
in
my
the
career.
shoulder.
And every single time they end up getting caught, and we're going to catch these guys, and we're going to get them back behind bars.
It's not funny.
It seems like law enforcement is a few steps behind them at every moment. This car was found abandoned and then towed last week when they went missing. So they could be anywhere in any sort of vehicle right now. Was there any evidence inside that car that is helpful?
No, there was nothing in the car. The car was inventoried by the record car. Was not inventoried, but the record driver looked into it. There was nothing in it at that time, and we've not recovered anything from the car.
Sheriff, there are reports that Casey White has some ties to white supremacist groups. We've been showing some pictures of him with tattoos all over his body.
Like Don Wells preaches about?
For various things. Can you talk about that and any ties he might have to the outside?
Well, it doesn't necessarily surprise me that he might be connected to some of those groups. That's just the kind of person he is. Whether he's getting assistance from them outside or not, I mean, I guess it's absolutely possible, but we don't have any information that that's happening.
Sheriff, as you have said, Vicky duped everyone. She has been helping plan this escape for at least the last year, possibly two. Have you now searched her house and personal belongings for any clues that would offer some specifics as to what the plan was and where they might go?
The investigators have worked diligently. They've been working with her family. They've been very cooperative. So we do know that she owned those other weapons, that she has them with her. More likely, we have not located them. So obviously, we assume that she's got them with her.
Remind people at home the weapons that you know that they have.
We know that she owned an AR-15. We know she owned a shotgun, and she owned 2 revolvers. The one she had on her at the time, and another revolver, not a revolver, I'm sorry, a pistol. No.
Some are speculating that they could have a place that they go and they try to stay off the radar for a while. Have you been able to investigate her digital profile, any internet searches that she may have been looking through to find a place to escape to hide?
We certainly, investigated all the technologies available to us. Yes, we've looked at those kind of things and continue to look at them. That's obviously a possibility that they're doing that. The main thing with finding the car is it let us know which direction they went.
And that's north. Beyond that, do you have any idea?
No, once they ditch that car, we really don't know which direction they went from there. We've been working all day today to try to develop leads, see if anyone in that area might have seen something. Hopefully we'll turn up something there.
Sheriff, we learned late today that Vicky, who had worked for your department for years and until now had an unblemished record, has now officially been fired even after announcing her retirement and her pension taken away. Was that your call?
Well, actually, her official status is she's no longer employed. I haven't.
Yeah, they fired her ass.
Concerned myself with her status here right now. Our focus is on catching them, and that's something for the personnel department to work out. She turned in her retirement papers along with a letter of resignation, and that was never forwarded. She had informed us Friday was her last day, so she's no longer employed here in some capacity.
Sheriff, I know you must be frustrated and everyone feels overwhelmed by what has happened and transpired over the last week. Do you feel responsible in some degree as well that this happened under your watch, especially given the fact that Casey White had expressed his intent to try and escape and he had extra security or was supposed to have extra security to prevent something like this?
Again, why the freak did they allow him to leave with her alone like that? Other people have to be in trouble for this happening.
Oh, yeah.
Vicky done wrong. But they shouldn't have allowed this to happen. There's somebody above her. No, he shouldn't have ever walked out of this door right here.
Well, obviously the buck stops with me. I'm the sheriff. I'm responsible for the jail. I'm responsible for the employees that work there. You have to have people in place that you feel like you can put your trust in, your confidence in, and that's the kind of trust and confidence I had in Vickie White. No one, I was just as shocked as anyone when she pulled off this stunt. So, but yes, at the end of the day, it's my responsibility.
Well, she betrayed your trust and had everyone fooled. Are there new policies in place, even now, to intercept?
That's what I was thinking too. ATS News. Yeah, he's probably gonna. Somebody else is gonna be losing their job for this for sure.
Something like this from happening again?
Well, all the policies were in place. A policy is a piece of paper, and it's there to give the employees guidance and direction on how they're to conduct themselves. And then if they don't conduct themselves according to policy, then we can address it based on the policy. But it's just like a criminal act. I mean, the act has to be committed before you can put the policy into play.
Sheriff, we have a couple of questions from viewers tonight. We asked people to weigh in, and lots of people have been following this case, and they're on the lookout for these two. Melissa sent us a message on Twitter.
And she is 58 or 56, and he's 38. Thank you, Mary. I was saying that because, yeah, ATS News, she is a sneaky bee. Other people, if you guys really research into this, I'll do more streams. I'm shocked at the number of people in here. I wasn't expecting this many people, but I mean, if you guys want, I'll definitely do a lot of digging into this. I've already been trying to hunt down her social media and everything. So, because I find it interesting how these situations can even happen. It just shouldn't. It blows my mind, honestly.
Just asking about Vicky's mind state and her wherewithal to do something like this. She asked, would she have the intelligence access to create fake IDs for both of them? Are they checking all private house rentals in Tennessee and surrounding states? So it's a two-part question. First, the fake ID, the aliases. Can you address that?
Well, we know she had some. So, you could get IDs off the internet. I mean,
What's up to you too, Chris Flowers? Yes, please. Very interesting. It's mind-boggling. Sure. Oh yeah, I'll dig more into this for sure.
You can get an idea a lot of different places, but we do know she in fact had two aliases, and that she used one of those aliases to purchase the car.
Drive me nuts.
Yeah.
And Sheriff, the
no,
second
I
part
think
of that
it's
question
a
is
scar
checking
his
private
lip.
houses, rentals in not just Alabama,
Like,
but Tennessee.
from
How are
his
you
nose,
working with the
like,
FBI
like a
and U.S.
vein.
Marshals to track down those leads?
I can tell you that we've been looking into that. I really can't, not in a position to share the method we're using to do that, but that's certainly something we've been looking into.
Understood. Sheriff, I will end with this, and I've
Yeah,
asked you
might
this
be.
several times. This is not the first time you and I have spoken. Your message, not just to these two fugitives on the run, but the public who may come in contact with them tonight.
Just do what you can to help us. Keep your eyes open, whether you're on the road, out shopping, whatever. Casey White is going to stand out. He's 6'9", 300 something pounds. He's not going to be able to hide if he's out in public. So if you see someone you think matches his description or hers, call 911. Get your local law enforcement authorities involved and help us catch them. That's how we're going to catch them. Somebody see them and call in a tip, and we're going to catch them.
Do not approach them. Call 911. Sheriff Rick Singleton, my
You heard it. Do not approach these people.
best to you and your department and everyone else out there in law enforcement who's trying to catch these two. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It is important to reiterate, Casey White is considered a dangerous fugitive. We cannot say that enough. Police say if you see Casey White or Vickie White, do not approach them. Call 911 right away. Coming up, no one wants Casey White brought to justice more than my next guest. He is the son of the woman Casey White is accused of stabbing to death in 2015. His message for those fugitives tonight. Also, falling in love with a cold-blooded killer who is behind bars more common than many of us thought. We're going to talk to a woman who experienced that, lived it firsthand.
This revolutionary new device can remove up to 10 times more earwax than a
Ew,
traditional
that's
cotton
nasty.
swab.
Ew, I'm sorry. Trigger warning. Blech.
The fact that
Yeah, we can talk murder and stuff all you want, but no earwax.
I do
all right?
not want to see your nasty ear
dangerous
insides.
fugitive could be anywhere right now is alarming for all of us, but it is especially haunting for one family in particular. Casey White has been charged with killing a woman named Connie Ridgway on October 23rd, 2015. Police found the mother stabbed to death in her living room. Investigators called it a murder for hire, and Casey would later confess to the crime.
I forgot about that. He claims he was paid to kill this Connie girl, that he was a hitman.
5 years later, he now faces the death penalty. Austin Williams is
So that's scary knowing he could be around Hawkins County.
Connie Ridgway's son, and he is joining us live tonight. Austin, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. And first of all, I'm very, very
Blink,
sorry
dude.
about your mom and that you have to go through this with Casey on the run.
Looks like Mike Ross.
No, thank you.
Do you believe that Casey will come after you? Are you afraid?
I don't believe I'm a target, but I'm afraid that he's a very dangerous person.
What went through your mind when you got the news that he had escaped?
I don't even really know what was going through her mind. It was just so shocking. It took me a while just to comprehend it. It was just so shocking.
Tell me what you know.
Frustrating.
Tell me what you know about Casey.
Hey, Sunshine.
I know he has a very, very violent history. I know he's been in jail several times. He's been very violent. I know he's attacked his brother and his ex-girlfriend, and it's just a very violent history.
Brother too.
Austin, what were the circumstances around your mom's death? Was it random? What more can you share?
Well, it is the only thing I can think of. It could possibly be random. Just she's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. She's such a gentle, sweet, Southern Christian lady. There's just who in the world could have anything against her?
And she was killed in her home.
Yes, that's correct.
How long after your mom was murdered did they find Casey and tie him to her death?
It wasn't until he confessed. We really had no idea for about 5 years.
Did you know, Austin, about his plans to escape, that he wanted so desperately out and that it required extra security because he had threatened to escape?
No, I didn't know that. I would imagine that he would have extra security because he tried to escape the first time he was in Lauderdale County for his arraignment.
Are you in touch with authorities as they search for him? Have they been in communication with you?
Yeah, they're very good at communicating. I'm aware of a kind of high level what's going on.
Well, we obviously know what he is capable of,
Shit.
so I won't even ask you that. But for you, all these years later, what does justice look like for your family?
Well, justice looks like him having the chance to go to trial and have everything decided in the court of law, whether or not he's innocent or guilty. I believe he is very likely guilty, but I would not want an innocent person to be punished for something they didn't do. So I really do want to go to trial and to go to court.
And we don't want an innocent person, another one, to die as he is still out there.
Interesting that he's still thinking it's possible. Maybe he's not guilty, but people do. They do. What do you call it? Confess to crimes that they don't do. Especially if they're threatening him with these things, and he's like, "Well, fuck it, I'll just confess to get a lesser time." I mean, we see it all the time, right? In what we do in the community. So I do like that this guy is like, okay, this is a good dude, but he also said, well, if he's innocent, because he could just be taking the rap for whatever. Like, yeah, wow. I would hope that they would have him and the daughter of his other ex in
Ross
some
and
kind
William.
of protective custody. I don't know.
Again, thank you for talking to us, and my thoughts are with you and your family as you go through the hardship of knowing that he's out there and accused of what he did to your mom.
Yeah, thank you. It means a whole lot. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Jailhouse romance is more common than you may imagine. Why do some women fall for violent criminals?
This lady used to work at a prison too, and also I think fell in love. I don't think she helped someone escape, or did she? Or she was going to. I don't know.
Behind bars, we're going to ask a former corrections officer who says it did happen to her. Next on Prime.
Again,
it is shocking.
Too common, y'all. We gotta figure out. There's got to be. There's. I don't even know, but prisons need to do better.
And so hard for many of us to believe, but some of America's most notorious criminals have found love behind bars. Convicted murderer and cult leader Charles Manson, for one, got engaged at the age of 80.
Well, okay. I'm pretty sure we know why.
To a 26-year-old who became infatuated with him through letters. Lyle Menendez, who shot his parents to death in their...
I'm sorry. I don't know what you guys think. I freaking adore the Mendez brothers. I do think that they didn't need to do what they'd done, but I consider what they done like a crime of passion in a way. But I absolutely have, like, I thought about writing the Mendez brothers, but Lyle Mendez for sure. But yeah, that's another one I'll cover one day too. That this story a lot of people don't agree with me on, but I just see it differently than a lot of people see it.
Beverly Hills home.
Right,
His
under
brother
your
Eric
stairs, yeah.
married a former model while he was in jail. And Richard Ramirez, a Satan-worshiping serial killer and rapist, wed a magazine editor after years of exchanging letters. So you may be wondering, how does that happen? One former corrections officer says she knows
Love you some,
because
Charlie.
it happened to her. Correspondent Kelly Beeson has her story tonight.
It just made me sick to my stomach because I know exactly where she is and how she's feeling.
The search for Vickie White and
I do
Casey
too,
White has
Yarzilla.
captivated the nation. And while many have been left baffled by the motivations in this case,
People were saying, you know, we don't really know what happened. And I thought, I know exactly what happened.
that's because Toby Dorr, previously known as Toby Young, did the same thing in 2006. At the time, she was married and running a volunteer dog training program at a state prison
Another married one.
in Kansas when she met John Maynard, who was serving a life sentence for a deadly carjacking.
You're at a point in your life where you just feel invisible and you feel broken and you feel so alone and lonely, and somebody notices. Common sense just goes right out the door.
She says she got Maynard out of prison in a dog crate, and they went on the run hoping to create a life together.
Oh, she did get him out. And you know, if the inmates can see this, but this is what inmates do. They are con artists. A lot of the times these guys are con artists. They are playing so many fucking people on the outside to make their lives on the inside better, right? This is what they do. So 100%, we know that with Joyce now from the New York one. She was, you know, wanting this romance. She was in the romance. Her husband didn't really pay attention to her. Same with this lady here. It could be the same as Vicky, you know, her ex, they divorced, he passes away, she never married again. I hate to say this, but if this is a ongoing thing in multiple different states, then perhaps this is why I'm saying that the women shouldn't be around the men like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's true. And these con artists, these convicts, can see that in the women and know to play on it because they are narcissistic predators, abusers in using that in broken women, right? That's a predator right there, the con artist. So if they can see that in these women, there has to be a way that the establishment can see that these women are broken too. Perhaps they shouldn't be around certain inmates. That's all I'm saying, whether people agree or what. I'm not trying to sound like sexist or anything like that, but it's just my opinion. Hey, Mr. J. Good night, Sam. I am.
While Toby says she's confident the two were in love, things began to change outside of prison walls.
For instance, you know, he had a pretty quick temper and he'd get mad about stuff. It made me start to think, well, this
AKA
might not have been
Doug.
the best decision.
The pair lived in a cabin in Tennessee for most of their 12 days on the run, until one day being spotted by law enforcement.
12 days on the run.
A high-speed chase followed, topping 100 miles per hour, ending when the couple smashed into a tree.
In Tennessee again, y'all. What is up?
Wasn't ready for it to be over yet. My initial thoughts the first few days after I was arrested is, how am I in jail? How did I get to this point in my life?
After serving 27 months behind bars for aiding the escape, Toby remarried, rehabilitated her life, and
27 months to help him escape. So Vicky here might not get in that much trouble should she be found alive. And I hope to God she is.
says she now fears for Vickie White's well-being.
It sounds like she's been an outstanding employee, an outstanding member of her community. You need to look at everything as a collective and not just judge someone by their worst mistake.
Shit. She's got a point there, I guess.
Really? What if someone's worst mistake is murdering an old woman?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I know. But I mean, if she has got something mental, again, why did they fucking let this guy leave with that girl? That's why somebody else does have to get in trouble. I don't want it to be that older sheriff guy who was talking at the beginning of this, because I don't think they were expecting this. She's been on the job for so long, an employee of the month 4 fucking times, and like this great person, right? But how long was she fooling everyone? Because her old job said this is no shock to them. You know, so has she really just been a sneaky bee, like ATS News says, for many, 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 many years? I don't know.
And Toby says there are scenarios that are concerning to her with these two on the run. She says when somebody falls in love with an inmate behind bars, it's a very artificial environment, and life on the run outside is so different, Marnie. Right. And the question that so many are asking now is, at what point does she become disposable, right? She was his key to getting out.
Yeah.
How long does he continue to need her? She's got the money, she's got the weapons, but together it's a dangerous combo. Kelly, thank you. That was eye-opening. All right, coming up, it took these two just hours to get away. Now they could be anywhere. Correspondent Brian Enton joining us live once again from Florence, Alabama, with new details tonight and what we know so far, the shocking information as authorities try to track them down. Next on this special edition of News Nation Prime.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can see that. Yeah, he is straggled. Not that that makes any freaking difference, because they all came off in the car, I'm sure, but ugh.
Friends would walk up to me and just be like, what the f is in your mug? And I would just tell them, it's mud. I was drinking tons of coffee.
Fugitives on the run tonight. Casey White facing capital murder charges, a dangerous criminal, and potentially the death penalty.
Brian!
Vickie White, an officer seemingly in love, but maybe more complicated than anybody anticipated. Correspondent Brian Enton joining us live in Florence, Alabama tonight with the manhunt that really spans nationwide, Brian. And a week after these two disappeared, investigators don't seem like they're any closer to finding them.
Yeah, Marnie, I think that's the most surprising thing tonight is that...
Spotted in Maryland? I'll be looking that up. People get longer for drugs. Well, that's right, cotton candy boobs. They do. There's people who do more prison time over a little bit of marijuana than what that lady did for busting out a murderer. That's crazy.
It has now been 1 week, and we are basically right back at square one. They found the SUV about 2 hours from here.
To be honest, so I think that those women should absolutely be in prison, but I do think they should have to do a stint in a hospital. There's something not right. And I don't care if it's just, you know, like she said, you were getting too old, you get invisible. There's been times where a lot of us younger folk too feel that way too. Like, we want excitement, right? We want that excitement. We want to do something in our lives that's fun and just whatever, but not break out a fucking murderer, you know? I don't know. That, to me, I think they need to do prison time and as well mental hospital time, because they shouldn't. There's something not okay there, and I kind of feel bad for them.
Here in Tennessee, but then they tell us that it was actually there for a week, not reported to law enforcement in Alabama. So basically, Vickie and Casey got a week head start. They could be anywhere right now.
Talk about the disguises, because people are looking for a 6'9" bald guy with big ears and some tattoos, and a 5'+ woman, blonde hair. We've seen her picture plastered everywhere, but they may look and seem a lot different, Brian.
Yes, bottom line with Vicky, the people who know her tell me that she looks much older in the picture. So if you see someone who looks like her but's older, it could be her. With him being so tall, it's possible that she's got him in a wheelchair disguised as a woman, the district attorney says. So basically, just be open-minded if you're looking for these two out there, and don't approach. They are armed and dangerous.
Armed and dangerous for sure. Brian Enton live in Alabama tonight. We will be staying on this case and bring you any updates as it warrants. Casey White and Vickie White on the run tonight. Call 911 if you see them. That's our time. Stick around.
Again, please don't go look for these people, you guys, for a little bit of money. It's not worth what could be your life, because they have weapons that it's just bad news. Here she is at the...
This is News Nation Prime.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Rudabeh Shabazi. Tonight, the nationwide manhunt continues for an escaped Alabama inmate and the corrections officer who helped him. Law enforcement looking for 38-year-old Casey White and 56-year-old Vickie White. Today, investigators released new video of Vickie in a hotel the night before she fled. The pair has been on the run now for more than a week, and they could be anywhere. The authorities found their getaway car in Tennessee. Still so many questions tonight. News Nation correspondent Tom Dempsey is following this bizarre story. And Tom, there are a lot of layers in this case.
Yeah, absolutely, Rudabeh. With this manhunt now stretching on for over a week, police want the public to take a good look at new pictures and videos of these two in hopes the smallest lead can lead to their captures.
We wish we had a lot more progress. It's been a week.
With the manhunt to find capital murder suspect Casey White and now former corrections officer Vickie White continuing, on Saturday, investigators asked for the public's help finding the two. This newly released video shows Officer White at a hotel the morning she later helped the inmate facing capital murder charges escape from the Lauderdale County Detention Center in Alabama. No one has seen the two in person since. Now, police want you to see renderings like these showing what Officer White could look like with different hair, thinking she may change her appearance. All this comes after police found a getaway car used by the two at a tow lot 100 miles away in Tennessee on Friday, a week after it got found in the woods with no ID tags.
We're assuming where it was abandoned, and it was abandoned so quickly that they probably had mechanical problems with it.
Inmates at the detention center told investigators about a special relationship between the officer and suspect, with many wondering why the longtime corrections worker helped Casey White escape. Toby Dorr may know a thing or two after she did the very same thing in Kansas in 2006.
All it takes is for that one officer or volunteer to just be a little bit nicer at one moment to an inmate. And, things just take off from there.
Dorr helped a man convicted of a deadly carjacking escape from a prison in a dog crate after falling in love with him. She says that 12 days they spent on the run led to all sorts of paranoia.
You're always just looking over your shoulder and you're expecting something to happen any minute. So you're on edge all the time.
With the search still on for both Vickie White and Casey White, investigators hope the manhunt comes to a peaceful end, and soon.
We just have to work with what we got. We're still depending on leads from the public, tips.
And regarding that abandoned car, it still remains unknown if the two went on to steal another car or hitch a ride with somebody else or simply run away. But again, the search continues for the two tonight.
All right, Tom Dempsey for us. Thank you. And while this manhunt continues, it sounds like anyone who comes across them should really be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this officer, his former corrections officer, actually had a gun on her during the time that they escaped. So again, police are considering this suspect to be armed and dangerous as this search continues.
And especially given his violent history. Tom, thank you. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of News Nation.
I think a lot of people who look at Joyce Mitchell wonder how somebody can get to a place where she helped somebody escape from prison. I wonder how it happened for you. What was it that this guy did or said that created that connection between the two of you?
Well, first of all,
this is the Toby who helped the other guy who trained the dogs.
I think a woman has to be at a point where she's pretty broken and she's in a desperate state. And when you're in that state, things that normally seem ridiculous don't seem so far-fetched. So in my instance, I was working really hard. I had a lifetime where I worked really hard and I performed at a high level. And I just felt this tremendous pressure to always be on and be my best for everybody and everything that I did. And I reached a breaking point. And in my case, I happened to reach the breaking point just at the same time that an inmate took notice of me and told me how nice I looked and acted like he cared about what kind of a mood I was in on that particular day. And
Was he
just
somebody
really like pouring.
Working in a prison, you have to know that the prisoners do this. You can't let that fool you. everyone knows. You can't work in a prison and not know how prisons work. I haven't worked in a prison, but I've wrote enough prisoners for many years to know how they act and what they do. You're trained in knowing that. I'm sorry, but for the most part, people doing life sentences are straight up con artists. They're going to do anything they can. They're going to play anyone they can to make their lives easier and make sure that their lives are comfortable. That's just how they do. Because, yeah, like, this is why I'm saying there needs to be mental testing done on the men and women, all the same, because you should know, or there's not enough training then or something, because you have to know this is a fucking act. You think of men on the outside who haven't killed anyone and how they fucking play women. You cannot let these people pull wool over your eye like that. And we can't be having male or female workers around these murderers allowing escapes to happen like this. This is just not acceptable. And it could happen, man or women. It's happened. I don't know if we can find a guy. Let me look that up quick. Maybe we find where a guy helped a woman escape. Anyone know of one?
Sorry, was he somebody who kind of you felt listened to you or noticed things about you when other people in your life didn't?
Yes, exactly. And we would spend a lot of time talking, and it was just, you know, human beings want to have a connection with somebody, and when you have someone who just spends a lot of time talking to you and telling you things about you that you like to hear, it's kind of just like pouring water on a dying plant.
I know he sort of became your protector. There was an incident where somebody threatened you and he stepped in. He became your escort around the prison. I've talked to some experts who say that often it starts with something small, like a small, will you do me a favor? It's kind of a baby step, and you kind of end up on this journey that you never thought you would end up being on.
Yes, exactly. And I think, you know, anything in our life, I think, starts with baby steps, just like that. But in my case, it was, you know, someone stuck up for me and kept me from being physically accosted by an inmate. I felt in fear at that time. So it did kind of change the flavor of everything. But I do believe that if I had been at a point where I was strong and courageous and not so broken, not so desperate as I was, that it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have happened.
I know you.
That's a problem. Are these people not getting, maybe, like, I don't know if they got to be put in like therapy to be checked on how this can be monitored, or if maybe if you know that you are going through that, you need to say something. It's like maybe you need to be put to a different part of the job than what you're doing while you are going through whatever you're going through, because we've now, she says it's just a mistake. I understand that a little. I feel bad because obviously it's a mental issue, and I feel bad for people with mental problems because it's not their fault. They cannot help that this is how they are born, right? And so I feel bad for that. But at the same time, it seems like she knows, because she's saying, well, I felt like this then. And, you know, if I didn't feel like that, maybe she's learning that way past the fact. But shit. It's not okay to be letting these people back out into society to kill other people.
You took money out, I think.
And she only did 27 months. Like, what the fuck?
Of out of your bank account or a savings policy that you had, you bought a vehicle, an escape vehicle. Did it seem real even the day you were driving to the prison to help him break out? I mean, did it seem like something, this was really going to happen?
No, it never seemed like it was going to happen. I still sometimes can't believe it did happen. The whole time, you know, we were talking about it, it was kind of like a game, like, well, what if this happened? And what if this happened? And I never really believed it until even the minute I was driving through the gate, I didn't think it was happening. But once I got outside the gate and he was in the van, then it was real. And I was just stunned. I can't look back and see a path I took that got me to that point. It just seemed like I was just there.
Is that right? Is that what her name was? Oh yeah, and then we got Joyce who smuggled things right in. Oh, hold up. There's her husband.
Joyce Mitchell, that prison employee, told her husband Lyle that the escapees threatened to harm him if she didn't go through with their plan. We talked to Lyle Mitchell exclusively, along with his attorney, Peter Dumas.
I can't imagine a more tension-filled and tumultuous 17 or 18-day period. How are you, Lyle?
Just taking it day by day. It's been rough.
Can you describe how this has turned your life upside down?
This one day it's everyone's 100%, everybody happy. The next day, that's what happened. It just in shock.
It's like someone pulls the rug out from under you.
Yes.
Lyle Mitchell spoke for the first time since his wife Joyce Mitchell was charged with providing tools to help the two convicted killers, Richard Matt and David Sweat, break out of maximum security Clinton Correctional Facility 18 days ago.
How his name is Richard Matt? Why did he get two first names?
Tell me where you were and where you first heard that there had been this escape at the Clinton Correctional Facility, where you work, by the way.
Yeah, I was at the hospital. My wife that night before said she was having chest pain. Next morning, I come back in, and we get ready to leave, and we turn the cell phone on, and all of a sudden we had all kind of beep, all from our kids, our family, state troopers are looking for us. So my wife when she turned the cell phone on, she said, oh my gosh, Matt and Sweat escaped. What? That's why must be white troopers want this.
Authorities say Joyce Mitchell planned to run off with the inmates after picking them up, but she never showed up, having suffered an anxiety attack. She was hospitalized that night.
The instant you and your wife heard that Richard Matt and David Sweat had escaped from Clinton, what was her reaction and what was your reaction?
I just couldn't believe it. Her reaction when she said they really escaped, and that's why I left it at that. And
You've known her for 21 years. You looked in her eyes. Nothing seemed unusual about her expression or her demeanor?
She said, hold on, wait, that's weird.
Nothing seemed unusual about her expression or her demeanor?
I said they want to talk to us because we know them, we're to help out. So we went right to the police barracks. He said, you guys been looking for us? I said, who are you? I said, Lyle and Joyce Mitchell. Yes, we have.
And so at that point, Lyle, you had no reason to ask your wife, do you know anything about this escape?
No. And then the next morning, she said the state police called. I said, for what? They want to know something about a package. It's a package. I said, what are you talking about? She said, we'll go back out. I need to talk to the troopers. Investigator came out and said, Mr. Mitchell, your wife has more involved in what she's letting on. What? And that's when he said that she was, she bought apparently 2 hacksaw blades, a Phillips bit, and a chisel. Oh my God.
When did you finally ask her point blank, face to face?
That night on the way home.
Did you say, did you help these 2 prisoners escape?
I said, well, how can it happen? She said, I got over my head and I was scared. And she said, I got something else to tell you. I said, what's that? She said, their plan was they want to kill you. I said, what? They wanted her to come pick them up.
So she admitted to you at that moment that once these 2 escaped from Clinton and made their way to that manhole, that she was supposed to be the one to pick them up and drive them away.
She told me that Matt wanted her to pick them up. And she said, well, I never leave nowhere without Lyle, never. And he said, well, I'll give you some pills they give him to knock him out, and then you can pick us up. She said, I am not doing that. She said, I love my husband. I am not hurting him. She said, then I do other in my head. She said, I can't do this. And then she told me he started threatening her with somebody inside the facilities was going to do something to me to harm me or kill me, or somebody outside the jail if she didn't stay with this.
According to your wife, they were going to kill you for what reason?
Did this get me out of the way?
Again, it makes no damn sense. I think they know that. What was he in the way of when he knew nothing at all what was going on?
Well, and who would want to kill Adam Sandler?
But she said she would never go through with it. That's what she
Oh
told
my
me.
God, he
She
does.
really loved me, and she was
The water boy.
Lyle's wife, Joyce, is still behind bars facing those charges. He said he wanted to speak out in this interview to provide a little space for his family because he is the focus of so much attention. He felt if he tells his story now, perhaps people will leave his family alone. And we're going to have much more from him coming up in our next half hour.
So interesting to hear what he said. Joyce said she got in over her head. I think we'll be hearing more of that from her.
And we'll hear his answer to the question about did she have a relationship, romantic or sexual, with one or both of these inmates coming up.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out
So
our YouTube
I wonder
channel.
if they're
Subscribe
still
by clicking
married.
that-
We're gonna do more lives on this, you guys, but wow, right? I don't know.
Jeez.
This is far too common. I mean, we just saw what, 3, 4 different stories on here?
Yeah.
That's all happened in the past. Well, the one lady was a long time ago, but shit, it happened. It's too common.
Hmm.
And I was trying to find one here, but I'm going to dig some more because I want to find where does a guy help a girl break out. From my Googling just now, it's a lot more female helping males escape. That's crazy. So hey SoCal, happy Mother's Day. Well, y'all, if you want to do more of these streams, I'll definitely do that in between, you know, summer and whatever other cases that we talk about, because I do find that this fascinating. The whole reason that I started reaching out to people, high profile people, inmates, whatever you want to call it, was because I'm just so curious how their brains work and why. And I find like I'm like, why? Like, why are these women doing this? How does it get to the, like, I don't know. I find it. Now, there is another thing that I'm going to be doing on my channel, you guys, because we're watching, or is it over now? A documentary of the nun. It's a cold case. I'm pretty sure they know what happened, but it's still, I looked just last month, it's still considered a cold case. 2 nuns murdered, but the whole, like, basically, like, it sounds like every girl in this Catholic school was SA'd by this priest and the doctor for this school, the gynecologist. I found one of the ladies on Facebook yesterday, but I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to reach out to her and see how can we help, if we can, or what. I don't know, but again, I'm just like, will be a lot of trigger warning, because the whole thing is murder and multiple rapes. Trigger warning. These women were raped by the
keepers,
hundreds.
right? Tennessee.
Yeah, the keepers. Yeah. Yes. I found one of the ladies who have been working on this for many years on Facebook Messenger. So I just didn't want to bother her on Mother's Day weekend. And I'm going to reach out to her. We're going to finish this documentary, and I want to dig more into that as well, because I want to bring you guys more cases while we still report and keep Summer's name alive. I'm not one of those ones who's just going to stop talking about Summer, but there's sometimes nothing to report, so we can still keep Summer's name and face out there until we have more to report on her. But there's a couple other things I want to dig into as well, because I wonder about the mind. And I did true crime to do multiple things, so I want to keep it on true crime and not like wondering what my son Bob is doing or something. You know, there's a lot we can do while we're waiting for more answers for Summer, if that makes sense.
Yeah, mix it up.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. There was way more people here than I thought would be interested in it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it is good to see, because I just want to know more. And I'm going to reach out to Toby as well. I don't know. Joyce might be out by now. So I'm going to see if I can get a hold of Toby Dorr, who helped that man in the dog crate as well. Because again, I need to know more about, I have so many questions. What were you thinking when you got out of that prison gate and you drove off with a criminal in a dog crate? I need to know your feeling right in that moment, because I didn't hear anyone ask that. There's all these great reporters, but sometimes I'm left like, what didn't you ask?
Yeah, they're more focused on the details of the case.
Yeah.
Rather than what people were experiencing.
Yeah, and I need to know more about that. Like, I want to know what feeling did you just have? The prison gate is closed behind you, and you are now in a van with a convicted murderer in a dog crate. Like, so many things I want to know, you know? Also, selfishly, I just also want to ask, no, I'm not going to go there, but I just want to know. They can give me thumbs up or thumbs down, Frankie. It all helps the algorithm. Right?
I don't think you can get. Oh yeah, you still can do.
You can give me a thumbs down, but if you give me a thumbs up, you're going to see some fun confetti. So I encourage the thumbs up, but the thumbs down helps me too. So if you want to be a thumbs down, be a party pooper, and not see some fun confetti, give me a thumbs down. It's okay. It's still helpful. Thank you. But if you just want to have fun with your life, hit the thumbs up, watch the confetti.
Confetti. Everyone loves confetti.
Yeah, everyone loves confetti. Yeah, it's really fun. You have anything to say on all this? What do you think?
People are crazy.
Yeah?
I don't get it.
How he got into the dog crate. They
Hmm.
got to be big dog crates because it looked like that dude was pretty tall too.
Yeah.
But the adrenaline rush, like I wanted, like, I don't know. I just want to know more about her feelings and thoughts because probably a lot more people keep it on what happened, how the escape happened, or whatever. Like, I want to know more
Yeah.
of that. Her feelings, what she went through. Did she sleep at night? Did he sleep at night? What was she thinking the first night? Was she afraid she would be killed? Like, I just have so many questions. But you guys, hubby worked on a little something, something, right? Is it on here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pull that up. Yes, Lex, I believe so. Thank you, Mr. J. Quinn. Toby Dorr. Toby and then Dorr. Toby Dorr.
Notice how her eye color, you can still make out as brown. It took me a while to figure out how to do that.
Good question. Yes, you rang. I want to know that too. I'm definitely going to be trying to get an interview with her. I am going to reach out to her if I can find her. So. Look into crisis actors. Me too, Kim Maple. He did good. He didn't even tell me he was going to do the colors. You don't know me. Good night, sunshine. Thanks for hanging tonight. You love this music?
Yeah, if you're a member, you should, or a mod, you should see your name.
Yep, members and mods. Thank you, SoCal. I'll be live tomorrow. Lip Lock, it was so good to see you. Thank you, Kim Maple. Thanks for watching and being a part of it and supporting.
Chubby.
Chubby. Well, thanks for hanging, y'all. I really enjoyed it. We will be live tomorrow. He might do a coffee live. He doesn't work tomorrow.
Yeah, that is a possibility.
But I'll be live tomorrow. I might do a Hot Topics and the regular evening show tomorrow. Not 100%, but I'll definitely be live one time tomorrow. Hi, my name out your mouth. My name out your mouth. Well, we're just ending, but again, happy Mother's Day to all the moms and grandmas out there. And we will see you tomorrow. Oh, welcome to the new members. Choo choo. Thank you for joining the crazy train. And to all my beautiful mods, thank you. And everyone who subscribes and joins in on the chat and hangs out with us. We love you too.
Yes, we do.
Ta-ta for now.
Bye.